This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone. Did you get in there? Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna put you on speaker. We're starting. There's Matt. Hello, Matt. Mike. Let's begin with approval of agenda, please. Commissioners, entertain a motion for the agenda.
Move approval of the agenda. Sean Powell.
Thank you.
We have a motion by Sean Powell for approval. We need a second. Matt?
Matt, there's three of us here.
You're the second. Thank you, Matt. Jennifer approved. Minutes from the February 17 meeting. Any, yes, sir. Yeah, hang on, we'll call you back on another number. That's what I talked about. Yeah.
Hello?
Is that better?
Much better.
Okay. Thank you, Matt, for joining us. Number 4 on the agenda is approval of minutes from the Thursday, February 17th meeting. I'll take a comment or a motion, please.
So moved.
Okay, approval.
No, looking for.
Matt, do you have a copy of the minutes?
I do, yes, on my computer, I'll have to get to it.
Okay. For the sake of time, why don't we forego the minutes?
I made the minutes, earlier, I just don't have the copy with me.
That's fine.
I'm fine with it.
Would you second the motion to approve the minutes of 17th of February? Commissioners, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Before we begin, Scott and Commission and guests, thank you for being here. I have to share with you that both Dr. Powell and I have an engagement. So time is today. It would be, I request your gravity, please. So Scott, number 5, please. Okay, you got it. So start with, it's been a long time since you guys met. We met in February. Been a lot going on. Obviously, the state's on fire. We've had a lot of activity with the BLM and the tanker bases. Been hopping with DC-10s and just about everything else you can think of, running all those fires. For the sake of brevity, I'm not going to go into all of the operational numbers and stuff like we've done in the past. In the future, I hope to just hand out a flyer that you guys will reissue later. But that's everything else has been going along pretty much just like what we have been developing budget. We're going into the capital project, the construction project process with FAA starting this next week. So that'll be coming up. We'll have a little bit more information for you at the next meeting. We've had some interesting things happen with different people coming to look at the Air Center. One of the most interesting ones was probably Frontier Airlines, who knocked on our door for looking for a flight school, and then didn't show up for the meeting that we were going to discuss. But we found out the next day why. That they have an agreement with the University of Grand Forks, North Dakota. So that's good for them, not so good for us. But I'm glad that people are looking at it.
that's what's exciting to me, is that this probably won't be the last. Steve, did you have anything else to add? No. That's it for 5.
Let's move on to number 6, please.
Okay, number 6, in San Diego, there's not a whole lot to talk about there. I think everybody knows we went through 2 bids on that. The first one we rejected for the price. I believe we're going to reject the price on the second one as well. And we're looking at another means to build that hangar. So I don't have a whole lot to announce at this point, but that'll be announced later.
Okay. Great, thank you. Move on to number 7.
Southeast Waterline, that project, as you remember, was bid in February. White Cloud Incorporated won that bid. It went through council in March, and that council awarded it to White Cloud. Their intention is to begin construction in August. So we'll be seeing that happen then. What they're waiting on us is parts, like everybody else. It's a supply chain issue. So August will be when they start on that. And that's all I know on that one.
Scott, what was the price on that? Waterline project?
It's almost live.
Was that
About $1.7 million. Does that sound right one? You remember? About 1.7. I think it was for the Southeast Waterline. It was less than 2. But I want to say 1.6, 1.7.
Okay.
That's in the ballpark anyway.
Number 8, Emerald Project, Americas. Steve and I attended, we had meetings with a lot of companies. Some of the things that developed out of that project was Roswell. You need to know Roswell's definitely on the radar. A lot of aerospace companies, whenever we were from Roswell, they said, you have to send. That's significant. That means that now that we're on the radar, because of the sense, we will be probably in a better and stronger position to attract more opportunities. So as we've been talking about for 2+ years, since we're going to be that lily pad, if you will, that jumping off point for Roswell further. So we're excited about that. Scott, Steve, anything you have on Steve, you're at the American Show? Do you have any comments?
No, it was just, I was told it was back to normal levels. A lot of people.
The PDC had 2 pretty good leads as a result of that conference as well. So we excited about how that. But they're still leads, we're still working. Okay. Scott, you want to take us to number 9, capital projects, please?
Number 9. So this is just a quick briefing of what we have currently going. You look at the list, I hope everybody's got one, we needed one. But terminal parking lot, the designs and progress, we're almost there. That once design is finished, we'll be going out to bid, hoping to start that project in the next few months, the construction side of it. Taxiway Alpha and Juliet Phase 2 construction, the construction is complete. We're basically wrapping it up with final payments and final report is in progress. Airport drainage study, 80% complete, final revision in progress. And if you guys have questions on any of the engineering stuff, Tim's here to answer those questions. The east side water line we just talked about. We had October on here, but last I heard was August. See, road rehabilitation of Abram Phase 1 and 2. Those are both MEP projects, design in progress. We're working through the FAA process on scope and the task order to begin design on the second phase. So if we're lucky, we'll have those 2 almost out of that. As we move across the construction line, we'll be able to finish one at 7 construction and start right on. Windcomb relocation was a minor project that we had that was due to a rule change with FAA in our last inspection last year. They found that Windcomb was too close to the runway, so we had to move it. That was done last month and finishing the closeout process. Santa Maria, just talked about that. Airport master plan update, scoping and task order is complete. We're waiting on the FAA grant to be able to begin the project. Same thing is true of the preliminary engineering report for runway 1735 rehabilitation. we're in the same place with that. We come back from FAA and PO to begin. But basically, that is the first step in major reconstruction of runway 17, which was built by the Air Force, and at that point, at this time, we need to go back down to the subgrade and build it back up. Our roof hanger project, we were working on the scope of service this morning with Tim. I believe we decided that and moving on down the road. Our small hanger build. Airfield lighting, it does not look like that's going to happen this year. It apparently did not compete as well as we hoped it. Unless the FAA changes their, what they're telling us right now, there's nothing in the grant system, in the MAP grant system for us this year. So that won't be on hold. The industrial park master plan, order of magnitude cost and scope has been provided. We're waiting PUC notice of the next step. And did you want to do that?
So that's a grant opportunity to create an industrial master plan park. Appreciate Tim and your company helping out with that. A grant program with Excel Energy, and it'll help us with initial phases, and then we'll move on towards continuing that. I'm not sure how long it'll take, but I think we have a pretty good shot at the grant itself. You know, engineer, then we can make these next steps. Right after.
The other projects that are not on this list are a little bit smaller. We're in the process of updating terminal with some paint and some aesthetic type of things. One of the things we're doing with the old 77 the restaurant service bar, that's coming down. It's going to get replaced with the city logo. Or I should really say the Air Center logo, but also the tile on the old elevator shaft that's coming off. We're going to look at doing some repainting there. Tile, some of them are starting to come loose, so we're looking at that and safety issues. Trying to get that back with paint to make it look a little less 70-inch, a little more 2020.
Scott, do we have a plan or thought on the airport terminal itself on phased improvements to upgrade the terminal?
We do. The one thing that's not fully built out in that is a temporary holding area. If you look at something like that, we have the study that we did in 2019 that goes and talks about the different phases and has a couple of different design choices, but we haven't gone into design yet. We did put in, there was some money in the bipartisan infrastructure legislation that Congress did for airport terminals, and they designed that all out by the size. Really, we probably had the smallest slice of the pie size, but I did apply for that grant, and we're just waiting for that to go through the process and see whether we're hearing it. But in the meantime, we could do some smaller things such as expanding our holding area with maybe a road.
Have we asked, and I don't know this, I'm just asking, I don't know, have we asked, or has Armstrong created a plan for the terminal expansion or renovation, or is that something we can do in-house?
Not yet. That would be something that most likely we would go through Armstrong, and we've worked with Gensler out of Denver before. They subbed to Gensler, and Gensler does that architectural.
There's already, like Scott said, there's already a report.
Right.
An report that has
Concept.
concepts, schematics, and drawings.
So how do we move from concept to reality?
The next stage will be design, and that was what I proposed in my grant, that we phase the grant. The grant years are over 5 years. So I, rather than ask for $30 million in one lump sum, I asked for phase one, which is design. And then, of course, you lay out the whole thing, how it would be phased out into 3 or 4 phases, and that's in the grant as well. So I'm just kind of waiting on their response for that. The design is the next phase. Whether that comes from FAA or comes from us internally, that's the next phase.
Obviously, it's funding fees associated with it.
Mhm. Yeah, you would assume that it's what, 10 to 15% for design?
Yeah.
What amount of funding are we talking about? This grant?
I requested 35, oh, from Excel.
It's not a really big grant amount, that's a matching grant. So I believe it's up to about, I think it's $500,000 grant. But it is a competitive grant.
And then the grant you're talking about is through the FAA.
It's through the FAA, and I went high, they can, all the rest of it, they think it would be less high for the, across that whole 5 years. So we can carry it down to a certain extent, but that's trying to take into account for the crazy inflation we're in.
So do we have so help me with this from my mind. Do we have a plan B for the terminal? If we don't receive the grant, what is our strategy to move the terminal forward?
The strategy had always been in the past, to go to the legislature. If the FAA would fund it through MAP, they wouldn't fund it through discretionary, which we've addressed both of those. And they said it doesn't compete well with MAP. Discretionary, it would compete with all others, but that's the problem. They have this much and they have lots of requests. So it's in the pipeline for discretionary. I would hope not, because the FAA does not seem to be very positive about that. And my feeling is that they don't really support the project. So, and again, that's just my feeling. We may come at it differently, or we may go through political means or something of that nature to maybe massage that a little bit and make that more important to them. But they provided us now at least the ability to apply directly for the terminal money through the BIL, through the APP. So we have the only active program there is state. And it's encouraging that they funded Santa Fe's terminal as well, and they began phasing that in. So in my mind, there's no reason we couldn't do so.
So my question is commissioners, do we feel that this is an area we want to work towards? Because it will require some council, I would think some council action. It would. The reason I say this is because just in March, was it, we were at the B100 conference to attract another airlines into Roswell. We need the space to be able to do that. We also need the work to improve their terminal for the many people that are now flying again, and to be able to track the other companies that we're talking about. Our airport terminal, which is the face of Roswell, looks like it does in the 1940s. It's not going to get us a whole lot of improvements. What are your thoughts, commissioners?
I think if there's a way to move forward with capital outlay going into this legislative session, I would suggest we should recommend that to the students.
Matt, do you have any thoughts?
Well, I had read in one of the air circulars that came out that in 2019 that Roswell was added to a special funding in one of the programs. Does that ring a bell, Scott?
That's probably the military airport program. And we've got.
Yeah, we had 5 years to do something and we could get $5 million a year or something like that. Am I correct on that?
It's, it's up to $7 million a year, but honestly, that's sort of a pipe dream. It really comes down, that's the cap, but it doesn't mean you're going to get $7 million. And we have gotten $2 million, 3.1 and 3.1 on the 3 grants that we've gotten. So we're doing pretty well with that, leaving this year out where it looks like we're not going to get anything. They have not made an announcement. And when I talked to our program manager at FAA, he said the list that they've produced for the military grant so far does not include Roswell. So without saying it, I think they're telling me I'm not getting any money. But okay. But no, that's the one you're thinking of. Otherwise, the other things that we've done, like I said, we talked about normal discretionary, but that puts us a minimum of 5 years out if they believe it's a good project. And at this point, it does not feel to me like they do. And Tim can probably back me up on that. He's talked to them as much as I have. And then the other option is our capital outlay And last summer, when we looked at capital, the ICIP projects for the air center lease, it was the number one request. And we didn't get it. We got the other, almost $5 million that Council Perry had. So
But I guess we have to go back to the state legislature then, huh?
I said we don't give up and we keep going back and look for any other opportunities that we get.
Yeah. What about any bonds or anything like that? Is there an opportunity to do that or?
I was gonna mention, there's always the opportunity to borrow, and that's gonna fall into one's wheelhouse and finance and figuring those things out. The other thing that would probably not be very popular, but I discussed a little bit last week while I was at the South Central AAA conference, is honestly property tax, put a penny on there, a mill levy of some sort that funds those type of things for the airport. But I think we all know how those things go over here. So I'm not terribly hopeful that that would be successful, but it is one of the things that we can do.
What about launcher's tax?
I think we use it for a terminal. It's got limitations on it.
Okay. I'm just thinking of different buckets, those different.
Absolutely. And I'm sure somebody smarter than me could figure out, what it would take for the property tax. I don't know what it would mean, how much it would take to get there. But those type of things are hard to get, and obviously you've got to have a sunset on them, or you really don't have a choice. I don't probably have any opportunity.
Do we have engineering estimates on phases of the terminal renovation, or do we have anything like that where we can apply our legislators?
We did in 2019, and
We could upgrade those estimates a little bit with today's costs, because like Scott said, they're 2019, 2018.
Yeah.
It's better to-
What do the rest of you think? What do you think, Randy? From your perspective, you have people coming in, not only clients, but members of your company, visitors.
I mean, right now, for customers to come in or visitors that come in and they fly on American, I think having another carrier in there would be absolutely awesome. Because right now, they either fly, our own company has flown in El Paso and driven up because they just can't get in and out of American, as quick as they need. Same thing for some of our visitors come in out of United right now is because there's just so few aircraft in storage. They have one representative on site right now. He assumed was one that they were doing is flying in and out of ops. So anything you could do, at least as a terminal.
One thing I didn't mention, American is bringing back the flight that they had canceled. So there could be one more. Dallas, it doesn't have Phoenix.
And
If you've flown lately, all those planes are full.
I don't know how it is with American right now with the fuel costs and with the crews, at least on some of our customers that fly the commuter airframe. They're losing pilots to the larger side of the house. So there may be, I'm not sure if there's going to be aircraft now that are going to be grounded. Alaska Airlines has cut back like 4% of their flights, I think, for the summer. So I don't know if that's going to affect others or not. American and United both are still returning aircraft to service pretty rapidly. We kind of thought they would slow up a little bit, but they haven't. What was, I think, keeping them from returning so quickly is most of the airplanes are going into heavy maintenance, and those heavy maintenance spaces are full. So the airplanes were just basically going from one storage place to another and sitting. So they were waiting here, but this summer it looks like it's June, in middle of July, I'm pretty busy for aircraft leaving. Just a crazy.
And I think the terminal, if you did a terminal, would you have, you still offload on the ramp or?
Yeah. Just a big round.
Baggage claim?
That would get revamped.
And you're-
We've already done the area on the outgoing side. Counter, so that's what it should be for now. The inbound side needs to be totally redone and put in repairs.
I think just watching right now the way the economy is, I'm just not convinced that you would get anything other than commuter size aircraft. If you have 737 in, we were carrying 130 or higher, 150 in. And I think it's going to be a pretty good draw this year, or even probably next year. Commuters now, but if some of the airlines are having the same problem that we're seeing with Air Wisconsin, on the commuter side, pilots and that kind of thing. It's tougher here,
Mainline,
here, so.
line is second.
Sure. And I know United right now, I don't think they have any interest really at this point of opening another gate somewhere, you know. They go in and do their study and, how it's, you know.
That's exactly what Mike and I got in March when we were meeting to the air service. United is not interested in expanding anything anywhere for a year or two.
And truly a lot of that, it's just the aircraft type that they're going to fly in.
Combined with pilot.
Right. Pilot shortage, where the pilots are leaving commuter and they're going into, a year and a half from now, you're going to have the new kids that are going into commuters, it's pilot.
It's not good support, which serves us, and both if we got United serving that too. They didn't even do meetings with us or anyone else, and that's why, because they had nothing off. So they didn't feel like it was. So we're looking at other opportunities that could come up between now and the year and a half, two, when United would engage again. But
Charter operation.
if we find somebody, we're always open to those things. I feel like we need those anyway. That would
Has
be,
anybody talked to Allegiant?
we have and we will. That's the short answer.
Talk to several.
Yeah, so we need a portable jet bridge for that operation, but that would be a big thing to come across.
No, I think that's a hurdle that we could meet.
Yeah, we could, you know, get a portable jet bridge instead of going in, put the ramp up on 320. But they operate a lot of small airports, like, you know, regional airports like that, you know, like Phoenix and Orlando and Las Vegas, and, you know, Hawaii. They'll operate 1 or 2 days a week.
The main thing with funding the FAA for the terminal is that they feel like we can still function with what we have. So until we're totally dysfunctional with what we have, they're not. Unless our politicians can change. So that's always a positive.
I'm that person that believes in that first impression.
Yep.
Is our first line of who we are, world. Because we don't get the second chance to make a first impression, right? So, as our community grows and needs expand, what do you think, Councilor Thermal redo?
Don't call me.
She always good.
I always have an opinion. Not always a council. No, I agree with you. I mean, you know, coming into that airport is kind of let down. And then, like you're saying, retrieving, you're like, almost like.
It doesn't give the feel, it has a different feel to it, everybody.
So this is the terminal piece. The reason I bring it up is because it's one area that not just vice chair, right, we fill our commission, but we have to, I believe, think about where we're headed as an air center. What are the priorities to move us to the current century, because we're not in the current century? And what will take us to get there, and what steps can we ask the council to be engaged with? Because we haven't done very well, in my mind, my opinion, a good job of that stuff in the commission. What I would like to see is, Scott, from you and your team, like a little bit extra work, but we think we can line out what that strategy is. Because I'm not sure what it is. Say the terminal, we can all agree that we need one badly. But what else out there really on the top of the list, really moving the needle in the area? Steve, what do you think? You're seeing a lot of this stuff because you're on the ground.
What this commission needs to focus on is not only with the city council or helping the city council also get the county on board, is we've got an air center that our terminals at 70. And I just had it this week where we had some of the top ranked from the state department. And they were ready to go home. They didn't want to start the negotiations because this was their first impression. So you know how the State Department works. This is my advice is we got to get the council to push to change the flooring, keep the elevator shaft, because now the shaft's a safety hazard. It's not just because of looks. The tile's coming off. It's only a matter of time when those pieces falls and if the person's in the right place, it's going to be catastrophic. Let's paint it. Let's get the terminal looking nice. Let's get the sign fixed for when people come in, because here's the thing is we're asking people to invest money or whatever, but when they come in and see there's no change, the only thing that people see the change in right now with the air center, if they don't work there, terminal. So we fix the terminal up and they see that we're making steps, then it's going to be easier to advocate for that penny levy, or whatever. But if we ask for them for more money to fund it so we can do it, and they don't see that anything's going, I can see them voting that. But if they see that we're making progress, then they're more apt to vote for it. And I've worked campaigns in other areas where we were going for validity, and that's how you market it. It's that this is what we do, this is what we can do. But we've got to take that first step. We can't wait until we got everything to go. We've got to move what we can. Let's paint the terminal, let's change the flooring, let's change the look on it, and then we start marketing. We're gonna have to market this. It can't just be, it's got to be everybody at the same time.
Scott, do you think it's feasible to create an action plan for the terminal and phase it and identify what the needs are and then bring it back to the commission maybe next month? And then we can discuss it, vote on it, and have how we can move forward to the council or whatever agency needs to be for the mechanisms to get it moved forward. What are your thoughts, Dr. Powell?
I think having a plan in advance is a good idea. And again, I would just encourage, especially this year, at least for the first phase, whatever that is.
No, I think that'd be a good idea. I mean, we more or less have that in the study already, so it would just be a matter of separating it out.
Larry, you have a comment?
In back of my memory, we passed a $1 million bond deal. And I think it was for the convention center, and I think it's going to expire in the next 2 years.
It's already set to expire. But again, the only way, it's already too late to use that same bond for reissue.
No, but it's expired.
It's going to expire.
As it's a taxpayer, you can add a $1 million for the airport, not to replace it, but I'm paying it already. But I complain about just continuing at $1 million.
So I understand, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, that any right now, that would still have to go through an election for the public. Yes, exactly.
And that's why I say that's probably a good solution, except it's just it's done in a lot of other places, but you got to get it.
That can be part of the solutions.
Yeah.
We cut out and get us to where we need to be.
Yeah.
To give them. So, I mean, that can be part of it. Doesn't mean it'll be one, but be part of one of the ideas to consider the fund project. Does that make sense?
Yep, makes perfect sense. It's one we haven't really talked about. Because when I started asking the airport manager, that was the answer.
So I would entertain a motion as staff to create an action plan for next month's meeting.
So moved.
Thank you. Matt?
Yeah.
Would you like to second the motion for the staff? to-
Yes, I would second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion passed. Scott, if you would please put it in for next month's meeting, absolutely. Start moving the ball forward on that terminal. Thank you very much, everyone, for your input. No other new business, any other new business from anyone? Commissioners? Matt, any new business?
No, nothing I can think of. I do agree with what Steve said about, you got to show some improvement somewhere. That's, I think he's got that, he's right there.
It's kind of like what I do every day in economic development. To bring an industrial company, the community will probably say, well, that's nice, but where's my fried chicken place? Right? I mean, they're going to look at things that affect them directly, and this affects everyone that comes and goes at that terminal directly. So I think so thank you for that. Commissioner, yes, Matt?
I was just saying, I fly in out of that airport probably 3 or 4 times a week. There's a lot of people moving in and out of it, like Scott said. I mean, those airplanes are over 90% full, it seems like, just about every flight I'm on, at least the ones I get on. And, when people get off the airport and they see the baggage area, I mean, that's the reflection of the whole town right there. For anybody coming in. First thing they see.
Thank you. You're correct. Commissioners, any potential agenda items for the June meeting? This is May. June meeting.
One of the things we had talked about a few times is a strategic plan, strategic master plan.
Yes. Thank you. Anything else? Matt, any items for the June agenda?
At this moment, I have none.
Scott, Steve, items for the June agenda.
So, two that I have on my mind, Armstrong has volunteered to come and help when we hopefully get our new commissioner for this next meeting. And kind of give the one-on-one that they've done for you guys before, and a update from the engineer side on all our projects where we are. Similar to what I've just done, but I just did a quick, they can go into further depth and talk about after we've done our capital improvement with FAA, what brought us to those decisions. And then Jeff Hartz from Mead and Hunt will either do a presentation online or he will be here to do your service presentation.
When is your contract? That service up for me.
It's up, the contract is up at the end of June. And then it's a renewal of that for 2 more times, I think. And then we go to RFP again.
Okay, anything else? The agenda.
That's going to be enough. We'll do the action plan and these two.
Okay. Thank you. Any reports or announcements from anyone here? Tim, anything from Armstrong? Thank you for always for you and your company's participation. Good. Appreciate it. Anything else? Counselor, Judy, infamous, Stubbs. Good to see you.
I have a question on the Bill on your Tinker Base expansion. That expansion, like you have a layout concept complete. Where can we see that?
I was gonna say, they've got it right now, and that's gonna go, basically what we're talking about, there's gonna be one more load pit to the south of the one where they have now, and then they want to put a building back on for storage. That's the gist of it, but it's not a public document at this point.
Just kind of taking a look, just to see how that the shared ramp space.
Sure, it shouldn't affect it at all, other than, possibly, so it's really with the chicken or egg. I mean, they're building another load pit because of the increased traffic. So that's already there. That is, the load pit is needed because of the increased traffic. So that's what I'm thinking is probably that's the only thing that might affect that traffic is there. And that load pit may enable them to move a few more
increase traffic based on like some kind of forecast for next year?
I'd recommend stopping on that.
Yeah, honestly, I would be speculating.
We shouldn't be discussing that.
Just, I've been tracking what's been used here.
That's not on the agenda. What I'm saying is that we should stop the discussion right now.
I do have a question, that Mercy Road that was, we can no longer use, it shouldn't have been used, yes, on the other side of BLM down to Hangar 91. Is any discussion on maybe a dual use of the road?
We're, best I want to say right now, we're reviewing the intent is to allow the fire trucks to have a route up that way that's on. So that's where we're probably going to continue to stay. Don't have any other discussion.
And the road here that you guys are still planning for, any idea where that's gonna go?
We're looking at it outside the fence.
Oh,
That's still in negotiations too.
yeah, and I was just
Still
curious.
discussion, not negotiation, discussions. Okay, Larry?
Oh, for Sean Paul. How's the enrollment like next fall for your airport classes?
We've added 2 aviation maintenance instructors and we're looking to increase the number of students. That's one that's held steady throughout COVID, so we're hopeful that we'll be able to increase that with the aviation maintenance program.
Good, great. And then the other one I had was, are we going to get new commissioners or new people for the board members?
I was going to address that after.
Okay. And then I had one other thing. The county, do they have any mills? Bond rates that are expiring, they might be willing to make an offer. Hey,
I don't know if I can speak on behalf of the county. I would suggest maybe you talk to one of the commissioners and ask the question there.
I will, tomorrow
I
morning.
don't think it'd be unfair for the city to answer that.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just going to listen to that.
okay,
Okay,
done.
thank you. Judy, anything?
Thank you. Good to see everybody.
Good. No one ever asked me. Does he have any questions?
I have lots of questions, but I can follow up on either Scott about you get a little bits and dribbles, but not a lot.
Water reminds one to know.
I don't like to be associated with that.
Okay, I'll let you do that after. So I spoke with Mayor Jennings about the 2 commission seats. He is reviewing possible nominees. I suspect he'll have discussions or appointments at the next council meeting, June 9th. And we should have them seated for the next commission meeting. If you ask me who they are, I can't think exactly know. So, but I do know that he and I have spoken on this subject several times. I shouldn't say 3, several times, I'm not sure. But I know he is working. So to make you aware. I think one of the most important things, since I've been on this commission, in my mind, whomever the chair is and whatever commissioners would like to do, is I think it's really important that we focus on moving our air center ahead. And I'll say it publicly that I don't like having meetings to have meetings, but we need to have some type of action going forward. And we need to use our city council as a mechanism, not only for information for them, but also for their assistance in helping our city become the star showcase it should be. Okay, with that, anyone, do you have any comments? You're muted, Rita, so
He's almost there.
almost. Date of the next meeting is June 16th.
Yeah. 1:30 and a year from now. Still scheduled a big one.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else, any comments, public participation, anything? Thank everyone for your participation today. We'll see you next meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matt.